Welcome back, friends. It's another day and another realization. And today I had a bit of a sobering realization last night, I guess early this morning. And it was regarding someone who is in my life, and that relationship had run its course, that it was time to move on. And this kind of surprised me because I think very highly of this person. We have so many good memories together. I'm so thankful they've been in my life. They really helped me in my life, like a lot, get through really tough times. Yet I knew that what I was receiving was correct because I had had a knowing about it for some time now. And the human ego part of me started thinking that I had to find something wrong with this person. But there's nothing wrong. It was just that I am on my path and they are on their path, and our paths were going together, and now they're going apart. And it's coming back to realize that we just sometimes grow out of relationships. And there's nothing wrong with the person, there's nothing wrong with the relationship. We just grow out of it. When we're on this ascension path, we're constantly rising in vibration. And many others who are not on a conscious awakened path, they may have times and they rise and then they go dip down, and however, it's perfect for each one. But until they're on a conscious awakened path, they're replaying the same programs, the same subconscious patterns. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's their journey that their soul wanted to have. And what I'm getting at is just that sometimes we grow out of people. And it's not that they've done something wrong or there's something wrong with the relationship. It's just that we're at another frequency level. And it's just, we could say we've just outgrown it. And what I noticed too when I thought of this, and this isn't the first time it's happened many times since I awakened. And what I could see is that I held the same patterns and programs that all of these friends did in my life. And we didn't know it at the time, but one of the reasons we were friends and we understood each other was because we had the same beliefs and programming. Yet once I let go of that belief or moved on from that programming, now is when I've outgrown that relationship. Because we can still maintain these relationships for however long is good for us. We don't have to be friends with just awakened people. I think it's healthy to be friends with everyone. And at people at all different stages, because everyone has wisdom and we can learn from everyone. Yet, when we have people we hang out with, and if we used to have the same programming or belief, then when we hang out with them, it's almost like this kind of like, been there, done that, I've worked through this, and now I'm in this kind of energy again, and yet it's time for us to move on. Yet I keep coming back to this heart of gratitude for every friend that has ever been in my life. I have so much love and so much gratitude, so much appreciation for every single human being that has been my friend. And it's really hard for me to move on from people because I do care for them so much, and I want the best for them, and I would never ever want for them to be hurt. But we also have to come to our level to know that people's feelings and emotions and responses and stories and thoughts and beliefs and programs are their responsibility. It's not our responsibility. That's on them. And if they paint a negative picture because we walked away, we moved on, well, that's their choice. And we can respect that. We can allow them to make their choice, because one day we will know that either they will wake up as a human and realize why this happened, or when they pass away as a spirit being, they will be able to see it all super clearly. And so remember, anyone who puts guilt upon us, guilt is not real. And when someone puts guilt upon us, it doesn't hurt us unless we accept that and internalize it. If someone puts guilt on us, that is up for them to forgive, so they can basically free themselves from that one day. So I mention this because often we feel guilty or we feel shame that we moved on from someone. Yet, Spirit's letting me know right now to come back to this truth, that the best thing we can do for ourselves is the best thing we can do for everyone else. And that includes all the humans, but also humanity as a collective consciousness. Because if we're on this path and we're growing, yet we're staying with all the same people, it's gonna be it's just gonna make our life more difficult. We're gonna be keeping in these spheres of these old beliefs and so this is why it is so helpful to move on. And at the end of the day, just like we talked about yesterday, just like I feel like I talk about in almost every video, trust yourself, trust your higher self, trust your inner guidance. Because a lot of this stuff, it goes completely opposite of what the human ego. Like if my human ego had its way, it'd want to be friends with everyone for life. Yet I trust my higher self guidance to know when to move on. And when I do, I always feel this new level of freedom, this expansion. And that's how I know that I've made the right choice for me and that it was the right choice. Even if my human self had a difficult time with that because I didn't want to disappoint someone. I didn't want to hurt someone's feelings. Yet when we hold gratitude for everyone that's been in our life, no matter what the situation, this is setting a new standard. You can be one who who notices when a relationship has served its time. And some relationships do go our whole life or very long times in our life. But many relationships are just meant for seasons in our life. And when we honor that, and when we honor the other being, because we have to realize and trust that whatever our higher self is letting us know is best for us is also best for them. One example that came up was that, and this actually, I can vouch for this because this happened before I noticed this from someone else. But here, I'm going to lay it out, is that when we move on from someone, now someone has an example. So when they perhaps awaken and are on a conscious journey, they remember, oh, that person, they moved on. Not because there was anything wrong. They loved me, they appreciated me, they had just outgrew that frequency vibration dynamic because they no longer held the same beliefs and programs that I did. And then they do that. And the reason, what I was saying a minute before was that I actually heard of someone doing this before I awakened. And then every time I did it, I didn't feel so bad. I didn't feel so guilty because I had this example of someone else that when they were ready to heal and when they were ready to go to their next level, they moved on from their friends. Not because they didn't like them, not because they did something wrong, but simply because they themselves were moving on to their next level and they knew that it wasn't vibrationally compatible. Yet if they saw, or if I saw one of my old friends in the street, it would only be love and gratitude. Yet it's not like you're gonna reconnect and start hanging out again. What I'm saying is there's no resistance there. There's no guilt. There's no shame. Yet some people also, they don't understand this and they are hurt. And then when they do see you, they get mad. And they hurl guilt or insults or anger, just the frequency of anger at you. And what they're trying to do is saying, you're guilty for my hurt. Yet our true self, our higher self, has never been hurt. It is only the ego that can experience hurt. And what is hurt is believing in something that is not true because it doesn't feel good. So it's a story. So basically, a person has created a story about us potentially, and that every time they think of us or see us, that comes up, and then they just hurl guilt. Yet, again, like I said earlier in this video, one day they're going to have to forgive. Not because we did anything wrong, but because when we make anything guilty, we are the ones that have to forgive it to absolve the guilt. Everyone is innocent. No one else is. We don't forgive because they were guilty. We forgive because we made them guilty. And then we also forgive ourselves for making guilty. And forgive ourselves for every time we made ourselves guilty. And I'd just like to bring up a concept from a video a couple of days ago, or a few days ago. And it was that everyone is a being of light on a unique path, and everyone is at the exact perfect spot for them. And when we can see our fellow humans in this light, we see them with such innocence, such purity. They're an innocent being of light, having a human experience, taking on a human body, human programming, human beliefs, the distortion, all this stuff, all the density, and they're having an experience. And so when we can see it like that, I don't know about you, but for me, it just feels good because I'm seeing the truth within the person. The being of light, the source energy, the diamond within that took on this role, took on this task, this mission to come to Earth and have this experience and do whatever they're doing in their life. They're a being of light underneath it all. Just like you, just like me. And so we can have grace and compassion when others act out of alignment, throwing guilt. Of course, guilt is so programmed into the human collective, and it's a big thing that I am here to help unravel, to help deconstruct, to peel back, so we can truly be free. Because guilt really is, well, it's coming to me to call it a prison, although I don't like thinking like that or being dramatic. It is a prison. And so we know that forgiveness can cleanse that, heal that, transmute it. Yet it is up to each person to choose to forgive. And so we're going to come back to what this message is about, which is when we grow out of others. We at one time attracted each other. We had the same beliefs and programming. Maybe just one, maybe many. I've had many friends that I see that I have many beliefs and programming. And then say we let go of one of them. And then we don't get along quite as well, but we still get along. Then we let go of another one. And we get along not quite as well, but we still get along because we still had all these good times and we still love and appreciate them. And then say we let go of another one. And now we start noticing things we don't feel as good. And then we let that go. And now look, there's a gap. It's just now is when the paths separate. Because we're just not a vibrational match anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. The human always wants to look for something wrong. And that's what often I feel other people do when we let them go or release them. They think, what did I do wrong? What did I do? It's like, you didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right. You were a perfect mirror and helped me so much. And were my friend and we had great times and we helped each other. And we enjoyed each other's company. And while we were having similar programs, we did help healing each other and listening to each other, seeing each other. Yet once we no longer have any vibrational compatibility, we just drift apart. And it can be sad for our human self. And so take the time necessary to just process that, and to again focus on the good times, being thankful for the good times, and cultivating a response of gratitude every time this person may arise in our mind, or if we see them or hear about them, or anything like that. So that we come to this gratitude, because when we're in gratitude, we are centered. And so when we're in gratitude, we are in alignment. And so we have clarity. We are open, we are allowing in that state. So yeah, it's a bit of a tough topic today, yet I knew I had to share it. And there was no beating around the bush with this one. So yeah, it's tough, I know. Yet also remember, when one door closes, another one opens. And that there are so many amazing people that are a frequency match. And that once we let go of what was no longer a match, then we are open to meeting up with people who are more of a match to us. And it's just naturally going to attract, because that's how this reality works. We naturally attract that which we are vibrating at. So yeah, I will leave you with that today, my friends, and send you much love and blessings on your path, and take good care. Much love. Bye-bye.